as we go through the morning, I'm sure some of you are right in amongst a change at the moment, or you've just completed one, or you're about to plan one. So I'd like you to just think about and relate what we're talking about today, if you can, to a situation that you're actually involved in, because I think you're probably going to get more value from doing that. So these are just some of the ideas about a whole range of how people react to change, and the caterpillar and the butterfly. So I want to just go through this quickly. So change does ask us to wake up and pay attention. We have this sort of steady state, this kind of settled state, and then suddenly we're challenged and it disturbs that tranquility and that status quo. It disrupts our security. We're often feeling that we're going to lose something. We might not be sure what it is, but often people's security is really challenged, particularly in a significant mandated change that's been decided by somebody else. It tests our capacity to deal with uncertainty, and a lot of the work that we do in organizations at the moment is to help people deal with that uncertainty and navigate it and take ownership for their own experience through that. So there is a lot of uncertainty about, and it's people who can find ways of navigating that will be doing well in the current climate. It challenges us to think differently, to adapt, to learn new things, to learn new relationships, to understand new technology. And as I say, we all respond differently. Yes, some people are excited, enthused, get bored very quickly when there's no change about. Some of you, I'm sure, sitting around the tables will be those kind of people. And other people, as I say, will be traumatized. We'll see it almost as a crisis. And from your perspective, you know, it's hard sometimes to understand just how difficult some people find change. And then there's these other people who just seem to be kind of unnerved and just seem to be able to roll with it in a very matter-of-fact way. So it's interesting, and we all have our unique drivers. So we're all at a certain age. We've all got certain set of circumstances at home. We've got families. We've got levels of debt and ownership, and we've got stage of career. We've got things that our values play a very big part in terms of how we orientate to change. And those personal circumstances and previous experiences, if we've had a great experience of change, or we've gone through change effectively through a difficult circumstance, what we find is people take that strength and those skills along to the next change. Whereas if somebody's had a difficult experience of change, then the reverse is true, and therefore they may well struggle more. So effective change process. So what's the implications of all this for you guys as change leaders? Effective change processes need to cater for a range of people's different emotional, how people orientate to change. So you're going to have in a team people who are very different in the way they orientate to change. So a good change process will look to meet the needs of everybody, and no matter what their situation. And it's very important to gain insight into how people are impacted by a change, and to really understand what people's experience is, so that you can then use that insight to lead change more effectively. And then I think also the other thing to say at this point is change leaders like yourselves are looking for a balance between, yes, we want to support people and help people and enable people to go through change, but we also want people to take ownership for their own experience and to actually engage with this and play their part. So I think that's really important too. Some of you will be very familiar with the transition process, and I talked about, you know, coming towards the end of a year, we've got an ending and a beginning coming, and when we've got an ending and a beginning, the gap between the two is the transition. So what I want to just very briefly focus on is this idea of transition. And often, when people are losing something, there's often quite a lot of grief around, and that emotional journey can be around, okay, some shock and some anxiety, which then quickly turns into anger and frustration for some people. Now, not everybody travels this journey. So particularly if you're looking at a change that you think is fantastic and you agree with and you think is perhaps initiated by you, or that you can just see the benefits of straight away, then you're not going to necessarily go on that path. You may well start on the upside or at the bottom here. As you start to kind of adapt, even really positive change can be very stressful. So there's still some stress often involved, and you still need to adapt before you can start to climb up here. So depending on how you see a particular change, you may start at a different point on that graph. But often there's a sense of loss. Often people have to let go of something. And often as change leaders, you're actually asking people to let go of things before they really know what they're moving on to, because actually you probably don't know necessarily. The other thing to say is that this is all normal, so that often people experience change and they think, actually, this is unique to me. And this is just normal stuff. As change leaders, for you to help normalize that with your people is a helpful thing, because people then understand that actually this is something that it's a journey rather than an event. So yes, and the other thing to say is that people will experience a particular change differently. So if this team around this table were experiencing a change, you would all be having your unique experience of that change. And so sometimes it's difficult to really start to understand that actually we all might, even though we're going through the same change, we're actually having a different experience of it. And as change leaders, that's a challenge for you to lead people effectively when you have got that range of different characters and different places. I'd say if you're in a change now, just think to yourself, where are you? Where are you on that curve? And where might your people be on that curve? And is that the same place or a different place? And then obviously the question then is, well, okay, if my people are here or I've got people in different places, what do they need from me in order to transition and to start to move? Because ultimately what you want as change leaders is people to be up on that right-hand side.